Hey, welcome to 24/7 Marriage Podcast. Why would you laugh to start it? Welcome to 24/7 Marriage Podcast. I am Javier. The crazy one next to me is
You know what?
Shannon.
I add flavor to your life.
Shannon,
I
I am
am
Latin. I am flavor.
without me,
Shannon, I am flavor.
Javi. Without me, you have your
You're
your
white.
life is tasteless.
I'm saying you're white. You don't want flavor. I have flavor.
Plenty
That
of
is not
white people.
true. My life is tasteless.
Yeah.
If I don't know, it's not.
Okay, your life is black and white, and I add color to it.
I am
Yeah.
brown, Shannon.
Oh my gosh.
I know what you're
So
saying. I know what you mean.
when it comes to the race war, you're gonna win on every front. You have more flavor, and you're darker than
I
me.
have more flavor. Hey,
Okay.
welcome to the 24/7 Marriage Podcast. We are your host, Shannon and Javier Labrador. We are excited to be here with you. Thanks for being part of
We
it.
are many things.
We are what?
We are excited. I'm like, we are many things.
What does that mean?
Well, we are crazy.
I'm
We are
introducing now.
weird. We are
We're excited.
founders.
We're weird. But that was like, we are excited that they are here. It wasn't about us, Shannon.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I made it about me.
Anyways, thank you for being part of the 24/7 Marriage family. And we are glad that you are taking time to listen and jump in. And I don't know by the time this comes out where we're at.
Hopefully,
But
Palm Springs.
we have been we have been in Prescott. I think these come out after we've had a few events, boot camp as well. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that when it comes up. So yeah, a lot going on. We're hitting the road again, but trying to make some changes and adjustments. I'm making changes and adjustments because Shannon doesn't like me a lot right now.
Oh, okay.
So
Is
she
that
loves me, but she doesn't always like me. This is true, and that's okay in your marriage. If that is the case and that is true, there are some times your spouse doesn't like you,
if we're gonna
but they love you.
refer to what we're talking about, just something that we're navigating right now, I have to correct you because I like you and I love you.
Oh, cool.
I am frustrated because I feel that sometimes you strong arm me with things you don't want to do, things you don't want to lay down, things you don't want to give up, things you don't want to say that you need to do.
No,
And
it's not about not giving up and don't want to lay down. It's
what is it then, Javier?
tough.
Uh,
I mean, yeah, we'll probably talk about it on another podcast. I mean,
no. That's a line we have to stop saying because we always say we're going to talk about that on another podcast,
No,
and
I
then
mean, I
we
think
never actually do.
It probably requires its own podcast of just
You mean a follow up to the "I'm Not Okay" podcast that we
from
did?
a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm
Part-
still not okay. Part 2. Not okay. I'm still not okay. Part 2. Yeah, maybe so.
True story.
Maybe that's what we need to do is follow up on that, so that people can hear part 2. And yeah, what are you doing?
It's becoming the podcast studio was so small that
because this is the issue. We
all I'm trying to do is get my knee comfortable so I can make it through this podcast, and you're crunching it against the side of the counter.
Because you're keep moving towards me. I'm not in the frame already.
Okay.
So if I move this way, it's an odd. We're in the marriage lab, which is of course touring the country, has been, and doing video podcast in the marriage lab is not easy. The marriage lab is a 38-foot fifth wheel, so there's not a lot of space, and so we have to try to frame this right, and it leaves me a little bit out of the frame, but it is what it is.
Not that
this is us, imperfect.
It's plenty wide enough, but we're sitting at our counter at the island, and the island is only so wide, probably 24 inches.
It disappears from the screens because I shoved her off her chair, which I can do just so you guys can see what that would look like. It'd be my greatest joy. No, it won't be my joy. Oh, anyways, I don't know where we're going. But
sorry if I keep touching my eye. I did my makeup this morning, and I feel like something's in there.
So I don't know by the time this comes out. I think this comes out in March or so. We may by that time have already begin the early phase of releasing our community, which is
Heck
we're
yeah.
excited about. So there'll be a new course on that to launch it. But we've always talked about how marriage is meant to be lived in community, and we believe that in marriage, you don't want to go it alone. Yes, absolutely with your spouse, but you need to bring in the core people in your lives that can walk with you, challenge you, ask you the hard questions. But also, like, it's important to have a community where you can tell your story, a community that you can ask questions and you can lean on other people, but also have those moments where you can say, hey, me too. I've been there. I've experienced that. Hey, this is how we navigated that, or we're just going through that. Can you pray for me?
Yeah.
So that community is going to be launching where you can be part of that community. There's going to
It's
be
called the 24/7 family.
the 24/7 marriage. I thought it was community.
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
24/7 family.
So you will there'll be a free portion of it, but then there's a paywall. There'll be another portion of it that I think every person needs to take advantage of. You talk about wanting to invest in your marriage and want your marriage to thrive because it impacts every area of your
Can I go
life.
ahead and
Every
give
area of your life,
I'm gonna
right?
I wanna tease them a little bit and
Well,
give
but let me finish my thought that
okay.
it impacts every area of your life.
Yeah.
And so to spend $24 a month is nothing. Most of you are spending that way more than that on TV subscriptions that do nothing for you and your marriage,
True.
and your future and your kids' future, or for your lattes, for right, your coffees you get every single day, as you're driving through Starbucks, whatever it may be. That's nothing. But man, what an internal impact you can have investing into your marriage.
Yeah. So this community that we're building out, the 24/7 marriage family, is gonna have all of our resources, for free for you in this community. There's also a section where you can talk to other people who might be in the season of life that you're in and build that community. You might be like struggling with four kids at home and you're like, there's this other mom, and she's in New Jersey. She got four kids at home too. And we're both just like barely surviving. And you have that point of contact and you have that commonality that we believe that's where thriving marriages begin is in community. There's also daily Bible verse. There's a habit tracker that we have that gives you one task a day in that under that umbrella of I get to, and that's our big mantra around here, is that we believe that the best marriages are two servants who are in love.
Yeah.
So we believe when you get to do something for your spouse, whether it's an act or something you say, those intentional daily habits grow to where in 30 days from now you'll just do them automatically. So we have a habit tracker, there's a Bible verse of the day, there's something that we really are excited about. It's called Javi approved, and it's especially for the men, the husbands that are in our community when they struggle to find
When you insert
what
your
it
foot into your mouth
when
consistently,
you need to find that right thing to say to your spouse, or she says something to you and something comes out that you were like immediately you want to grab it back and shove it back down your
well, it's
throat.
more like a lot of men don't. I've coached a lot of guys, and they're like, I can't say it like that. I don't know how to say that. Can you say that? Like, like put me in their ear, and as they have their conversation. So I think
Yeah,
it's along the lines of you're having a discussion with your wife. Maybe it's about being able to understand her emotions or feelings, whatever it may be. So it's more like instead of saying this, say
say this.
this.
Yeah,
Hey, I want to seek to understand how you're feeling. I can't imagine how much weight you're carrying right now.
yeah.
How can I best serve you in this season? As opposed to like, what are you doing? Like, why are you acting that way? Like, you don't have a lot going on. I have a lot going on. Like, you want help, then just ask me for help. Not helpful. Like, that's not a good way to say it.
Not building a bridge.
But there's a way to do that where, so these will be sayings that will help guys hopefully get
Yeah.
unstuck
Yeah,
and
it's
don't
almost
say
like
this, say this.
well, it's like a script. So
Yeah.
we're providing you with the script for those
Yeah.
moments that you really struggle to like in the moment, like, I don't know what to say or do. So we wanna be able to help you. Also,
Yeah.
we're gonna have courses on there, as well, and my 10-day reboot for wives is gonna be rolling out in this community. Um, 10 days of curriculum and videos from me coaching you all along the way, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. So I don't know how to transition from that, but we're going to transition for that. Um, we wanted to talk about uh, a little bit about dating. When I say dating, we're talking about dating your spouse. And some of you may not like this actual verbiage and what we say here, but it's going to simply center around this is that dating your spouse is not enough. Date nights aren't enough. We always talk about date night and the importance of a date night, but you need more than just a date night. So date nights are great, but
yeah.
you need more than just a date night. Like we've had a couple say, "Oh yeah, we go on dates." Okay, but they don't communicate in between. They're not taking time to build daily habits and disciplines and intentionality that lead to a thriving marriage. You don't I don't want to say fix, but you don't build a thriving marriage just by date nights.
Yeah.
Um, I believe they are still very crucial. They are vital. You should be doing them. They should be consistent. They are incredible points of connection, especially when there's little demons running around like your children. Like you need to get away. You need to disconnect. You need to enjoy time with one another and
Yeah.
have fun with one another. So they are absolutely, I think, vital, but date nights are not the answer to just they're not
Oh,
enough to
yeah, for
sustain
sure.
a deep,
Yeah, no,
intimate
no,
marriage.
just implementing date nights alone, is like if your marriage is a pie and we've cut it into 8 pieces, date nights are just one slice of the pie.
Yeah.
It's not
It's a
going
good slice. It's a healthy,
no, it is.
big
But
slice.
also, let's take a look at the actual date night itself because it can be fruitless and empty. So, I don't know why I went with the pie theme,
Well,
but
we're gonna get there. You're jumping ahead for a second.
we're gonna get there. I wanna
No.
go there right now.
Setting the foundation, Shannon,
Okay,
because you
Javier.
want to tell them how to make their date nights fruitful.
No, I was going to address that there are so many people, we see them all the time. They're like, they're probably out on a date night, but they're on their phone scrolling.
Oh yeah,
Like that is so empty and that's not actually adding value to your marriage.
yeah,
Like to sit on your phone and scroll while you guys
yeah.
share pizza.
I mean, I think we're going to talk about like okay, we'll touch on in just a moment. Like, yes, if you're on a date, here's some things that you should be making sure that you are doing and maybe avoiding, like you
There
just
should
said.
be a checklist of things that we
Yeah,
are and aren't going to do on a date
yeah.
night.
Core of this is just is this focus of like okay, well, even in doing those things, or not doing them, the date night's still not going to be enough. Like if you want to, it's like moving beyond just us having quality time together to building a marriage that's rooted in intimacy, intentionality, communication, spiritual growth. Like building a marriage that's rooted in so many other areas. Because again, it's not just about talking about date night and how to do it well. It's about recognizing
Yeah.
if you're not doing the other pieces, that date night could be incredibly frustrating also
Well, you're talking
as
about
well.
building a rhythm
Yeah. Yeah.
into your marriage.
Yeah.
It's I don't know anything about writing songs. You played percussions.
But I didn't write songs.
No, you didn't write songs, but there's you all know when you've heard a bad melody or you're like, the lyrics in that melody do not match up. That's a terrible song. And it's like we want to build this rhythm in our life. So it's not about perfection. It's about this progress. It's just about this what do we do, what is going on in our home like consistently? It's not like here's a date night and then we forgot about it for 6 months. Oh gosh, we got to jump back in, we got to do that, and we haven't connected after the kids have gone to bed, and it's like you try to insert these tools when what our heart's desire is that these things become the ethos and the rhythm of your home
Yeah.
constantly.
I mean, if you don't build intentional daily habits and rhythms of connection with one another, then your date night will seem like a checklist. It's
Yeah.
just something that we have to do. Oh, check, we did it. And you don't want it to be that. Um, Another reason why date nights aren't enough, it's limited time. I mean, you have limited time on a date night where, you that's not gonna sustain you for emotional connection and wholeness and oneness with one another. You have to have more time than just a date night where we hold hands, we look into each other's eyes, and we connect and we talk about things. Because what if it's a crazy season and your date nights were once a week and now they're every other week or once a month? That's gonna be your only moment of connection, of intimacy with one another in terms of just building unity and communication. I don't think date nights will solve your underlying problems. Like it might open up some things. You might have some
Yeah,
discussions, But we also say on date nights, don't just make them heavy. Like go have fun, enjoy, laugh together, do something
yeah,
fun.
I
But the thing is that daily life just happens.
yeah,
So so the date nights don't just fix it. So what are you doing on a daily basis in the everyday moments? Because I think it's all the small moments, it's all the small things on a daily basis that build right a healthy, thriving
yeah,
marriage. So date nights is one component. So that's why it's not enough. But we want to talk about what can you build
yeah,
during the week and the month,
yeah.
with one another, that will build then enjoyment and connection during a date night.
Well, I think this all goes back to a free download that we came out with at the beginning of the year called Yearly Marriage Planner, and it's a very intentional way
If you didn't do it, do it.
to sit down for several hours, go away, get a hotel overnight, but this is where you sit down and you look at the next 12 months and we insert the rhythms that we want to see happen from January 2025 to December of 2025. So those rhythms are, these are date nights. These are vacations. These are trips where mom and dad are going to go here alone. These are commitments that we have, family obligations or whatever. And it's like you coming together is so impactful because it's like we're tackling this year together and we're going to make this year and this marriage what we want it to be. We're not just going to let it dictate to us what's going to happen. We're like, oh, well, oh, we can't go out tonight because I forgot we have a soccer party at the pizza place. So we can't do that. It's like, we want you to be very intentional. And we understand that some of us are better planners than others. Some of us are more visionary than others. But when you come together and really make a plan and say to each other, what do we want this year to look like?
Yeah.
What do we want it to be said about our marriage? And how much intentionality are we going to put towards our time alone,
Yeah.
how we connect, how we communicate, how we spend time with family, with friends. Um, you, that's the exciting part is that
Yeah.
you get to dictate that together.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, if you're not, that's part of that planning is so that you're planning the intentionality of how you're going to be engaging with one another. So that if you know the bigger picture, then you can now implement the everyday habits that will lead you to build intimacy, that will lead you to build connectedness with your spouse. And so, like, are you having a daily check-in? Are you asking each other? I was struck by this because Shannon and I don't do it all the time. I probably should. Is even just asking, what is your date? What's your not what
Those
your
are the
date,
4
not
questions
what
you
your
ask your
date,
spouse
not what
every Sunday.
I
That's
don't know where you're going. What?
well, we just posted that. What are the 4 questions you should ask your spouse every Sunday? What do
Okay.
you need help with this week? What's
Okay.
on your calendar? Where did I fall last week? And how can I be more helpful to you? So it's like,
Okay. I didn't
yeah,
know where you were going. So sorry. I don't. You do all of that. And I didn't see that. So, um, yeah. So that can be a question, but those can be questions that you ask, like, on a Monday or on a Tuesday, like every day of the week.
yeah,
Like, how can I best serve you today?
yeah,
What are your expectations of today? Like, what do you have going on? Because it could be, I was listening to a podcast the other day and he talked about, like, he said, "Oh, I'm gonna be working late today." Well, to your wife, that could mean you're getting home a half hour later than normal. But clearly communicate what's your expectation. Oh, I'm gonna be
is
doing this, this, and this. I
yeah,
won't be home till 8 because
yeah.
of this. Oh, okay.
Well,
Know that.
because late does late mean 6:30 or does
Yeah.
late mean 9? Like,
Yeah.
That's a big window,
Yeah.
and what happens when we make statements like that is assumptions get made.
Yeah.
So, a spouse makes an assumption, and an assumption's not wrong. You're just like, "Oh, well, late before meant they got home about 6:37,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna expect they walk in the house then,"
Yeah.
and when they don't, then we have an unmet
Yeah.
expectation,
So
and
that
frustration sets
so
in.
on a daily basis, make sure that you are asking questions like that. And how's your heart? How can I support you? How can I best serve you today? Those are important things. Initiate conversations, right? Have intentional conversations around. It could be the kids, right? Which is practical things. It could be just about what you guys are dealing with, navigating about one another. Intentional conversations. You're going to build closeness and intimacy by really taking a moment to stop and thank your spouse for the things they do. Maybe you come in from work and dinner's always ready. Do you thank them? Say, "Hey, honey, thank you so much for like the hard work you did today. I can't imagine like today was crazy with the kids. I know we texted but still you managed, you made dinner and it's like, thank you so much for doing that." These small things build connectedness, emotional intimacy, all these areas on a consistent basis, right? Texting one another sweet things and reminders and flirting with one another, whatever it may be, like all those things will start to build connection,
Yeah.
just practical. And then there's spiritual stuff like praying together on a consistent basis, like every day. Maybe it's even you're sharing a scripture together that you both read, and you text like, "I really liked it because of this reason." Going to church together. These things build connectivity and intimacy, like with one another during the week and during the month. So that way, your date nights are not like, "Hey, we got to figure this out. We haven't talked. We haven't, had conversations." Like, and then you're piling everything into a moment,
Yeah.
as opposed to building these moments the entire week, the entire month. And that's an important thing.
Yeah, the other thing is, um, finances play a huge role in this because it can be that underlying current frustration and feeling like there's never enough or you're always trying to make ends meet, and then how does that play into, "Well, we can't have a date night, we can't go on a vacation, we can't do these things," and
No,
that's
just not talking about that, like,
yeah,
doesn't
it
create for a healthy, fun, even date night. Also,
yeah, but it creates this underlying current of just irritation and frustration with your spouse. And going back to like what it looks like to plan out your year, it's like, okay, so this is the job that we have, this is the money we have coming in. So, how do we together creatively create date nights and vacations, even if they're staycations, even if they're dinners where we put the kids to bed and we cook dinner, eat on the living room floor, like type dates? Like,
yeah,
you can be creative just because you might not have the finances right now, do not let that limit you or shut down how you're going to communicate, pursue, and invest into your marriage. Like, investing into your marriage costs you nothing
yeah,
but your time and your words.
yeah,
So make that a priority. Um don't let that stop you because I feel like I've seen a lot of couples where they just let like laziness slip in. Well, we can't go out, so we're just going to sit and watch Netflix and eat leftovers. Well, okay, you can be intentional with your spouse in building and investing in them, but you're choosing the lazy way out. And I'm
yeah,
just calling it out.
yeah,
That's what I see often happen with a lot of couples.
yeah, yeah. And so the like if you're going to like your marriages are again built on the small daily actions and moments that you are taking. They're not built in the big moments, right? Everyday life is where intimacy and connection are being built, and that's really again, this wasn't about so much like a date night and how to have a good one. We're going to talk about that in just for a moment of some things to set up to have a successful date night. But this was more about the fact that the date night is just not enough, that simply thinking we're gonna that's be our moments of connection and togetherness. Now, listen, if you're doing them weekly and they're really a moment for you of deep connection and intimacy, and it like that's amazing, and that is good, and keep doing that. But we still will tell you it's what happens in between. It's the in between.
Yeah.
It is
Yep.
consistent connection and what you're doing on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday before your Friday date, of how you're texting, engaging, loving, affectionate, holding hands, having conversations, connecting with them, asking how they're doing, checking in with them. How can you best serve them? So, if you want to build a lifelong connection, it's going to happen with your consistent habits and behaviors, your intentionality on a weekly and daily basis. And then that could lead to you going on the date night and really enjoying. And maybe you're not talking about anything serious at all. You're just enjoying one another. You're just going out and having fun and laughing and doing a fun activity because, like, the normal rhythm is we connect and we
What
talk
did I just tell you last
and we
night?
share.
What did I just ask you? I said, "Oh,
I don't.
this guy, he's got ADD, so he doesn't remember." I asked you if we could have like a 2-day date weekend,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
when we get to Oceano, and I said I want 2 days where we do not talk about 24/7 marriage, where we don't talk about any of our struggles that we're going through. We're just gonna shove
That
it all
Shannon's
down.
going through.
We're just gonna shove
We
it
don't
all
talk
down.
about all Shannon's problems. It's
We're
exhausting.
gonna shove all our feelings aside, and I said, "I wanna go eat Mexican food. I wanna run through the dunes. I wanna play on the beach. I wanna be
She
goofy."
wants to throw me down a dune and drown me in the ocean. Is what she's saying. I'm kidding.
Why do you keep painting this picture that I hate you?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So I said, but I, because I'm putting it out there now because I want 2 days where we unplug, where we do something fun and not worry about all the things that we have coming up and that we're planning and that we're working on, and just personally, like, what we're working through and navigating too. I wanted 2 days to unplug, so I
Yeah,
put that out there,
yeah.
and we're gonna make that happen.
And we have. I mean, and listen. So, like, well, I think we all have to be better at that, at the intentionality again of what we do during the week, but then also of planning our date night. So just for a moment as we wrap it up, I mean, I hope you understand what we're moving towards is that just your oh yeah, we go on date nights. That's not enough. It is not enough. And if that's the flag you're waving, like, lower it, because that's great that you're having a date night and keep doing it. It's so vital, so important. But to make them fruitful and healthy, like, it's going to be all the stuff in between. That's going to help you grow that marriage.
Yeah.
So don't just rely on the date night to fix that and to be that for you. But when you are on the date night, um, jumping on something, but I mean, you need to make sure that you are connected and you're present when you're with them. So really work hard about where the kids are at. That you're putting your digital pacifiers away. I mean, this I'm trying this year. Not trying. I'm going this year to be off of this so much more. So, like, if you know me and you text me, you might get auto replies that I am not on the screen as much. I am focused on what needs to get done, and I'll respond to you when I'm able, or if it's urgent, call me. And I don't like talking on the phone,
Let me
and I'm
just
telling people to call me.
so we had cell phones when the girls were a little bit older. I don't remember when all that rolled out. I remember getting a I had my flip phone when McKenna was like 4. But when we would go out, I would my phone would be put away. Like, it did not come out. Javier's phone stayed on the table if grandma or grandpa called or something with the girls. That's what it was for. But other than that, I am all about intentionality and, like,
Yeah,
spending
yeah,
quality time. So make it a goal and tell each other. Don't say, "Javier, you should put your phone
yeah,
away. You should stop doing that. You always have it out. You're
yeah.
always
They'll
scrolling."
make a decision and
If
do it.
you say, "How about we put our phones away? You keep your ringer on in case somebody tries to
I
get
would,
a hold of us."
I would push back on that also.
Oh,
I would say you can have a certain ring or text, right, notification, that appears just for that's assigned to somebody.
yeah.
And I would do that if it's whoever has your kids,
Yeah.
and then put it in your purse or put it away.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: if you leave it on the table upside down and it buzzes, you're gonna look at it every time. Is it
Yes.
them? Is it them? Is it
Yes.
them? Put it away. Even when you're meeting with somebody, just meeting with somebody, even putting your phone face down, there's something that happens when it vibrates and you feel it and you heard it. Your mind automatically now shifts to the phone. Oh, who is that? Wonder what that was.
Yeah.
You're no longer present in the conversation.
Yeah.
So that is one thing.
Yeah.
I want you to add let me say one more.
Oh, okay.
The other thing I would say is, if you're going to be doing a date night, be intentional in your planning. So men, if that's you and you're going to plan it, be intentional with that. Like, hey, I've got it taken care of. I got the kids covered. We're going to go out to dinner. We're going to be doing this, and then we're going to go play miniature golf, or we're going to go bowling, or we're going to do something that we're going to do karaoke because we love that. Like, have fun with it. Just enjoy one another, but make sure you're planning it well, not just get in the car and say, hey, where do you want to go? Be intentional, plan it.
That is so good. Back to that post that we said, for the 4 questions you should ask your spouse every Sunday. That is one of them. It's like, this week we have a date night, and who's going to plan it?
Yeah.
So taking turns also is important. Don't come with your checklist of things that you need your spouse to work on. I think that there's a time and a place for that. And don't make your date nights feel like work or homework or a job or something that your spouse might dread, because you're alone and you're like, there's some things I want to tell you, and like you go through this checklist of things you want your spouse to do. There is a time and a place to talk about those things, but we want that time that you're out alone to be fun, to rejuvenate you, to remember why you're married. That friendship gets rekindled, that love, and just affirming each other in having fun, being spontaneous, and enjoying each other's company, because marriage is your ministry.
Yeah.
This is your mission field. So it's like you have to have time where you can regroup and just have fun, because the mission field it's crazy.
Yeah.
You have kids at home, you have jobs, you have community, and you have people who are pulling at you and wanting your time and your attention, and you have to be a united front.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's so important.
Those are just a couple things that when you're on your date night, like, maybe beforehand what to prepare for, but also while in it. And again, like, if you're having consistent communication and connection during the week and the month, like, there can be a moment where you're saying, hey, I know we've been talking about that. Let's just, at dinner, let's just chat, 20 minutes about that. And then let's just enjoy. Let's just, and be prepared. Again, go back and enjoy one another, and connect. And sometimes it's fun to do their date nights with other couples, right? If you're going to be doing that, that's okay too. So, build towards having really fun, enjoyable, engaging, and connected date nights. But I'm telling you, those successful date nights will be built on the foundation of your intentionality and your pursuit of one another in the small moments in the everyday life during the week and
Yeah.
during the month, and how you're moving towards one another, because date nights are not enough.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for being part of the 24/7 Marriage family, for listening to this podcast. Always remember to subscribe. If you haven't yet, maybe you're just listening. Make sure we pop up in your feed. Share it with other people.
Make sure you also leave a comment on
Yeah, we
Spotify,
want to hear from
on
you.
Apple. We check the comments. We reply back to you. We want to hear what you guys have to say. And
Yeah,
on YouTube as well. We've been seeing a lot of comments
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
YouTube.
So we appreciate each and every one of you. Always remember, in marriage, you don't have to.
You get to.
Have an incredible week, and we'll see you soon. For listening to the 24/7 Marriage Podcast. Help us expand our reach by rating and leaving us a review on iTunes. Make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For more information on the work we do and how to support 24/7 Marriage, head on over to 247marriage.org and click on Partner with Us. Until next week, remember, in marriage you don't have to, you get to.